You want a breakthrough? You want your life to change? You want next year to be different? You want to look back 12 months from now and barely recognize who you were? Then let me tell you something nobody wants to hear. You're going to have to bleed for it. Not literally, but metaphorically, absolutely. You're going to have to sacrifice. You're going to have to suffer. You're going to have to give up things that feel comfortable and do things that feel impossible. You're going to have to bleed sweat, bleed tears, bleed hours, bleed comfort, bleed the old version of yourself that's keeping you stuck. Because breakthroughs don't come from comfort. Breakthroughs don't come from doing what you've always done. Breakthroughs don't come from playing it safe. Breakthroughs come from breaking through walls, from breaking old patterns, from breaking yourself open and rebuilding into something stronger. And that process, it's painful, it's hard, it's going to cost you everything you're currently clinging to. But here's what I need you to understand. The pain of breaking through is temporary. The pain of staying stuck is permanent. You can bleed for a year and break through. Or you can avoid the bleeding and stay exactly where you are for the rest of your life. Those are your options. There's no third choice where everything magically gets better without you having to suffer for it. You know what your problem is? You want the breakthrough without the bleeding. You want the transformation without the pain. You want the new life without sacrificing the old one. You want the result without paying the price. And that's not how it works. That's never been how it works. That's never going to be how it works. Every breakthrough in history came through breaking. Every transformation came through struggle. Every new level came through pain that felt unbearable at the time. You think successful people just woke up one day and everything was different? You think they got lucky? You think they found some shortcut? No. They bled for it. They sacrificed for it. They suffered for it. They paid a price you're not willing to pay. And that's why they have what you want. While you were choosing comfort, they were choosing pain. While you were protecting your feelings, they were pushing through discomfort. While you were making excuses, they were making progress. They didn't avoid the bleeding. They embraced it. They understood that the bleeding is the price of admission, that suffering is the mechanism of change, that pain is the doorway to transformation. You want to know what separates people who break through from people who stay stuck? It's not talent. It's not luck. It's not circumstances. It's willingness to bleed. Willingness to do what hurts. Willingness to sacrifice what's comfortable. Willingness to suffer through the process of becoming someone new. What bleeding actually means. Let me be specific, because bleed for your breakthrough sounds dramatic. Let me tell you what it actually looks like in real life. It means waking up at 5 a.m. when your body is screaming to stay in bed. That's bleeding hours of sleep, bleeding the comfort of your warm bed, bleeding the easy choice. It means going to the gym when you're exhausted, pushing through one more rep when your muscles are burning, showing up even when you don't feel like it. That's bleeding sweat, bleeding comfort, bleeding the luxury of only doing things when you feel motivated. It means saying no to going out because you have work to do, missing parties, missing events, being alone on Friday night while everyone else is having fun because you're building something. That's bleeding your social life, bleeding fun, bleeding the approval of people who don't understand your vision. It means having difficult conversations you've been avoiding, confronting people, setting boundaries, ending relationships that are holding you back. That's bleeding comfort in your relationships, bleeding the ease of avoiding conflict, bleeding the false peace of tolerating what doesn't serve you. It means investing money you don't have much of into your growth, buying the course, hiring the coach, investing in yourself when you're scared. That's bleeding financial security, bleeding the comfort of keeping money in the bank, bleeding the safety of not taking risks. It means working when everyone else is relaxing, studying when everyone else is watching TV, building when everyone else is scrolling. That's bleeding leisure time, bleeding entertainment, bleeding the easy dopamine hits that keep most people sedated. That's what bleeding looks like. Not dramatic, not glamorous, just hard, uncomfortable, painful, every single day. And most people aren't willing to bleed. They want the breakthrough without the blood. They want the transformation without the sacrifice. They want next year to be different while they keep doing the same things. It doesn't work that way. The year that's ending. Look at this year. Really look at it. How much did you grow? How much did you change? How much did you actually break through? Or did you just survive? Just get through it? Just maintain the same patterns you've been running for years? Be honest with yourself. This year, that's ending. Did you bleed for it? Did you sacrifice? Did you push yourself beyond what was comfortable? Or did you play it safe? Did you choose comfort over growth? Did you let fear keep you small? Most people, if they're honest, will admit they didn't bleed this year. They didn't really push. They didn't really sacrifice. They didn't really change. They had good intentions. They made plans. They set goals. But when it came time to actually bleed for those goals, they backed down. They made excuses. They chose comfort. And now the year is ending, and they're in the same place they started. Same habits, same patterns, same life, just 12 months older. Is that you? Is that going to be you again next year? Because here's what I need you to understand. If you don't change what you're doing, next year will be a repeat of this year. Same struggles, same frustrations, same feeling of being stuck. Time passing doesn't create change. Time plus bleeding creates change. Time plus sacrifice creates transformation. Time plus pain creates breakthroughs. Every breakthrough has a price, and that price is paid in blood, sweat, and tears. There's no discount. There's no payment plan. There's no way around it. You want financial breakthrough? You're going to bleed time, bleed comfort, bleed social life. You're going to work when you're tired, study when you want to sleep, build when you want to relax. You want physical breakthrough? You're going to bleed sweat, bleed soreness, bleed the foods you love. You're going to be hungry, be tired, be uncomfortable in your own skin as it changes. You want relational breakthrough? You're going to bleed pride, bleed ego, bleed old patterns. You're going to have hard conversations, set boundaries, end toxic relationships, even when it hurts. You want mental breakthrough? You're going to bleed old beliefs, bleed limiting thoughts, bleed comfortable narratives. You're going to challenge everything you thought was true about yourself. You want spiritual breakthrough? You're going to bleed attachments, bleed control, bleed certainty. You're going to let go of things you've been clinging to, face truths you've been avoiding. Every area you want a breakthrough in has a price. And that price is always paid in discomfort, in sacrifice, in bleeding something you don't want to give up. Most people look at that price and say, too expensive. They want the breakthrough, but they're not willing to pay. So they stay stuck. They stay small. They stay the same. But you're different. Because you're still here. You're still listening. Which means part of you knows the truth. You can't stay where you are. You can't keep living the same year over and over. You can't keep being the same person. You're ready to bleed. Right now. This moment. Between now and the end of the year. This is your bleeding season. This is when you decide. This is when you commit. This is when you choose whether next year will be different or the same. Most people will coast into the new year. They'll take it easy during the holidays. They'll wait until January 1st to start fresh. They'll use the excuse of year-end to slack off. But not you. You understand something they don't. The person you are on January 1st is the person you became in December. You don't suddenly transform because the calendar changes. You transform by bleeding in the final stretch. This is your bleeding season. This is when you push harder, not easier. When you sacrifice more, not less. When you bleed deeper, not shallower. While everyone else is coasting, you're sprinting. While everyone else is relaxing, you're working. While everyone else is waiting for January, you're becoming someone different right now. Because, here's the secret. The breakthrough happens before the calendar changes. The transformation happens in the bleeding. The new you is forged in the final weeks of the old year. You don't start January strong by waiting until January to start. You start January strong by ending this year strong. By bleeding in December so you can break through in January. Let me be clear about something. This is going to cost you things you care about. You're going to lose comfort. The comfort of sleeping in. The comfort of eating whatever you want. The comfort of doing what's easy instead of what's necessary. You're going to lose time. Time scrolling. Time watching TV. Time in activities that don't move you forward. That time is going to bleed away into work, growth, building. You're going to lose relationships. Not all of them, but some of them. The ones that are built on who you were, not who you're becoming. The ones that require you to stay small. The ones that drain more than they give. You're going to lose certainty. The certainty of knowing how each day will go. The certainty of predictable routines. The certainty of staying in your lane and playing it safe. You're going to lose parts of your identity. The part that makes excuses. The part that quits when things get hard. The part that chooses comfort over growth. Those parts have to die for the new you to emerge. This is the blood. This is what you're going to bleed. These things you've been holding on to, they have to go. They have to be sacrificed on the altar of your breakthrough. And that's painful. That's why most people don't do it. Because losing these things hurts even when you know they're holding you back. But here's what you need to understand. What you're going to gain is worth infinitely more than what you're going to lose. You're going to gain strength, not just physical strength, character strength, mental strength. The strength that comes from doing hard things repeatedly. You're going to gain confidence. Real confidence, not fake it till you make it confidence, but confidence built on evidence. Evidence that you can do hard things. Evidence that you keep your word to yourself. Evidence that you're capable of more than you thought. You're going to gain respect. Self-respect. The respect that comes from looking in the mirror and being proud of who you see. From knowing you're doing what you said you'd do. From becoming who you said you'd become. You're going to gain freedom. Freedom from the patterns that have been keeping you stuck. Freedom from the habits that have been holding you back. Freedom from the version of yourself that settles for less than you deserve. You're going to gain momentum. The kind of momentum that makes everything easier. That makes opportunities appear. That makes obstacles smaller. That makes the impossible start to feel inevitable. You're going to gain a new identity. An identity is someone who bleeds for what they want, someone who sacrifices for their goals, someone who does what's hard instead of what's easy, someone who breaks through instead of stays stuck. That's what's waiting on the other side of the bleeding. That's what you get in exchange for what you lose. That's the breakthrough. And when you're standing there next year, stronger, better, different, you'll look back at this bleeding season and you'll understand. The bleeding was the breakthrough. The suffering was the transformation. The sacrifice was the victory. Every day you face moments. Moments where you choose to bleed or choose comfort. The alarm goes off early. You're warm, you're tired. This is a moment. Bleed or comfort? You're at the gym. You've done your planned sets. You could leave. Nobody would know. This is a moment. Bleed or comfort? You have work to do. Your friends are going out. You could join them. The work could wait. This is a moment. Bleed or comfort? You need to have a hard conversation. You could avoid it. Pretend everything's fine. Keep the peace. This is a moment. Bleed or comfort? You're tired. You've had a long day. You could scroll social media, watch TV, relax, or you could work on your goals. This is a moment. Bleed or comfort? These moments happen every single day, multiple times a day, and each moment you're choosing. Bleeding or comfort? Growth or stagnation? Breakthrough or staying stuck? Most people choose comfort in most moments. They bleed occasionally, when they feel motivated, when someone's watching, when the stakes are obvious. But breakthroughs aren't built in occasional bleeding. Breakthroughs are built in consistent bleeding. In choosing to bleed moment after moment, day after day, week after week. That's the difference. That's always the difference. Not one big sacrifice, but 1,000 small bleedings that compound into transformation. You know what's keeping you stuck? The lie of balance. They told you that you need balance, that you need to take care of yourself, that you can't push too hard, that you need rest and relaxation and self-care. And there's truth in that. But there's also a lie that keeps you comfortable, a lie that prevents breakthrough, a lie that you use to excuse yourself from bleeding. Because here's the truth. You can't break through and stay balanced. You can't transform and stay comfortable. You can't bleed and maintain your current lifestyle. Breakthrough requires imbalance. It requires tipping the scales. It requires going all in on growth, even if other areas suffer temporarily. You can't give 100% to your transformation and 100% to your social life. You can't bleed for your breakthrough and maintain the same entertainment schedule. You can't sacrifice for your goals and keep all your current comforts. Something has to give. Something has to bleed. That's not optional. That's not negotiable. That's how transformation works. Now, eventually, after the breakthrough, you can rebalance. You can build a sustainable life. You can maintain without the intense bleeding. But not now. Not during the breakthrough season. Not when you're trying to transform. Not when you're building the new version of yourself. Right now, you need imbalance. You need to tip the scales heavily toward growth. You need to sacrifice balance for breakthrough. And that's hard. That's uncomfortable. That feels wrong, because everyone's preaching balance. But everyone's also stuck. Everyone's also not breaking through. Everyone's also living the same year over and over. You want different results. You need different choices. You want breakthrough. You need imbalance. You want transformation. You need to bleed. Here's something nobody talks about. Your breakthrough is going to cost you people. Not everyone, but some. The ones who are comfortable with you being stuck. the ones who are threatened by you growing, the ones who need you to stay small so they don't have to face their own stagnation. When you start bleeding for your breakthrough, some people are going to try to stop you. They're going to call you obsessed, extreme, unbalanced. They're going to tell you to relax, to slow down, to stop pushing so hard. And they're going to sound reasonable. They're going to sound like they care about you. They're going to sound like they're looking out for you. But here's the truth. They're protecting their own comfort. Your growth makes them uncomfortable. Your bleeding makes them feel guilty about not bleeding. Your breakthrough threatens the relationship they have with you being stuck, so they'll try to pull you back. Not maliciously, but unconsciously. They'll invite you to things that conflict with your goals. They'll mock your dedication. They'll dismiss your dreams as unrealistic. This is part of the bleeding. Bleeding these relationships. Not cutting people off dramatically, but creating distance. Choosing your goals over their comfort. Protecting your bleeding season from people who want you to stop. And this hurts, because these might be people you care about. People you've known for years. People you don't want to lose. But here's what you need to understand. People who don't support your growth don't get to be close during your breakthrough. People who try to stop your bleeding don't get access to your transformation. People who want you to stay stuck don't get to benefit from you breaking through. You're going to have to bleed some relationships, create some distance, disappoint some people. Choose yourself over their expectations. That's part of the price. That's part of the breakthrough. Let me get practical. Because theory doesn't create change. Action does. Starting tomorrow, every day until the end of the year, you're going to bleed. You're going to do one thing every day that makes you uncomfortable. One thing that requires sacrifice. One thing that pushes you beyond your current limits. Not huge things. Not life-altering things. Just one hard thing. One thing that makes you bleed a little. Wake up 1 hour earlier. That's bleeding sleep. Bleeding comfort. Bleeding the easy choice. Do an extra workout. An extra set. An extra mile. That's bleeding comfort. Bleeding the desire to quit. Bleeding good enough. Have one difficult conversation you've been avoiding. That's bleeding comfort in your relationships. Bleeding conflict avoidance. Bleeding fake peace. Work 1 extra hour on your goals. That's bleeding leisure time. Bleeding entertainment. Bleeding the easy dopamine of scrolling. Say no to one invitation that doesn't serve your goals. That's bleeding social approval. Bleeding FOMO. Bleeding the need to please everyone. Remove one comfort food from your diet. That's bleeding pleasure. Bleeding the easy choice. Bleeding immediate gratification. One thing, every day, something that makes you bleed. And at the end of each day, you mark it. You track it. You acknowledge, today I bled. Today I sacrificed. Today I chose breakthrough over comfort. Do that every single day until the year ends. That's your bleeding season. That's your transformation period. That's how you end this year stronger than you started. Here's what's going to happen if you commit to bleeding daily. Week 1, it's going to hurt. Every day is going to feel hard. You're going to want to quit your body, your mind, your emotions. Everything is going to resist. This is normal. This is the initial bleeding. This is where most people quit. Don't be most people. Week 2. It's going to feel slightly less impossible. You'll start to see small changes, small wins, small evidence that this is working. You'll still want to quit some days, but you'll have proof that you can do hard things. Week 3. You're going to feel momentum. The bleeding is still happening, but it's becoming familiar. You're starting to identify as someone who bleeds for their goals, someone who sacrifices, someone who does hard things. Week 4, you're going to feel different. You're going to look in the mirror and see someone new. You're going to feel stronger, more confident, more capable. The bleeding is still happening, but now you want it because you can see what it's creating. By the end of the year, you're going to be unrecognizable, not just to others, to yourself. You'll look back at who you were when you started this bleeding season, and you won't even relate to that person anymore. That's the timeline. That's the transformation. That's what happens when you bleed consistently for your breakthrough. There's going to come a day, probably multiple days, when you want to stop bleeding, when the pain feels like too much, when the sacrifice feels too great, when you start to wonder if it's worth it. You're going to want to take a day off. Give yourself a break. Go back to comfort just for a little while. And that's the moment. That's the moment that determines everything. Because here's the truth. The breakthrough happens right after the moment you most want to quit. The transformation happens right after the point where it feels impossible to continue. The victory happens right after you think you can't take one more step. If you stop bleeding when it gets hard, you stop right before the breakthrough. You quit right before the transformation. You give up right before you would have won. Every breakthrough story is the same. Someone pushed past the point where they wanted to quit. Someone bled beyond where it felt bearable. Someone sacrificed more than felt reasonable. That's where greatness lives. Not in the comfortable effort, in the unbearable effort, in the bleeding that feels like too much, but you do it anyway. So when that moment comes, and it will come, when you want to stop, when you want to take a break, when you want to go back to comfort, that's when you bleed more. That's when you push harder. That's when you sacrifice deeper. Because that moment is the doorway. And if you push through it, everything changes. Every night before you go to bed, I want you to look in the mirror. And I want you to ask yourself one question. Did I bleed today? Not did I try? Not did I do my best? Not did I have good intentions? Did I bleed? Did I do something that hurt? Something that cost me? Something that required sacrifice? Did I choose growth over comfort? Did I choose my breakthrough over my ease? Did I choose becoming over staying? Did I bleed? If the answer is yes, even if it was just a little bit, even if it was just one small thing, you can go to sleep proud. You can go to sleep knowing you move forward. You can go to sleep knowing you're becoming someone different. If the answer is no, if you chose comfort, if you avoided sacrifice, if you played it safe, then you don't get to sleep proud. You don't get to sleep satisfied. You face that truth. You acknowledge it, and you commit to bleeding tomorrow. This mirror test, this is your accountability. This is your measure. This is how you know if you're actually transforming or just talking about transforming. Most people lie to themselves. They tell themselves they're trying. They tell themselves they're doing their best. They tell themselves they'll start tomorrow. But the mirror doesn't lie. The mirror knows if you bled or if you didn't. The mirror knows if you sacrificed or if you stayed comfortable. The mirror knows the truth. So every night, face that mirror. Ask that question. Answer it honestly. And let that answer determine how you feel about your day. Here's what I need you to see. This bleeding season isn't forever. This sacrifice isn't permanent. This pain isn't the rest of your life. This is a season, a concentrated period of intense effort, a short window where you push beyond what's normal to create results, that aren't normal. You're not signing up for a lifetime of bleeding. You're signing up for weeks of bleeding that create years of benefit. You're not committing to permanent sacrifice. You're committing to temporary discomfort that creates permanent change. You're not choosing eternal pain. You're choosing short-term suffering that eliminates long-term stagnation. This is a season, and seasons end. But what you build in the season, that lasts. The strength you develop in this bleeding season, that's yours forever. The habits you forge, those are yours forever. The identity you create, that's yours forever. The breakthrough you achieve in these weeks of bleeding will compound for years. The transformation you create in this season will pay dividends for decades, but you have to go all in. You have to bleed. You have to sacrifice, not forever, but right now, fully, completely, without reservation. If you do this, if you really commit to bleeding for your breakthrough, I can promise you something. You're going to end this year stronger than you started. Not just physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, in every way that matters. You're going to end this year as someone different. Someone who does hard things. Someone who keeps their word to themselves. Someone who bleeds for what they want. You're going to end this year with momentum. The kind of momentum that carries you into next year, already winning. Already ahead, already transformed. You're going to end this year with proof. Proof that you're capable of more than you thought. Proof that suffering leads to strength. Proof that bleeding leads to breakthrough. You're going to end this year proud. Proud of who you became. Proud of what you sacrificed. Proud of how you showed up when it was hard and when January 1st comes. You're not going to be making resolutions. You're not going to be starting fresh. You're not going to be hoping this year is different, because you'll already be different. You'll already be someone who breaks through. You'll already be someone who bleeds for their goals. That's the promise. That's what's waiting for you. That's what you get in exchange for the bleeding. So here it is, the moment of decision, the fork in the road. The choice that determines everything. Are you going to bleed for your breakthrough? Or are you going to stay comfortable and stay stuck? Are you going to sacrifice for your transformation? Or are you going to protect your comfort and protect your stagnation? Are you going to suffer through this final stretch? Or are you going to coast into the new year as the same person? This is your choice. Nobody can make it for you. Nobody can do the bleeding for you. Nobody can create your breakthrough except you. But I can tell you this. The pain of bleeding is temporary. The pain of staying stuck is permanent. You can suffer for weeks and transform. Or you can avoid suffering and stay the same for years. You can bleed now and break through. Or you can stay comfortable now and regret it later. The choice is yours. But you have to make it now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not January 1st. Right now. Because the bleeding season is now. The transformation time is now. The breakthrough opportunity is now. So make the choice. Commit to the bleeding. Embrace the sacrifice. Accept the suffering. And watch what happens when you do. Watch how you transform. Watch how you strengthen. Watch how you break through. Bleed for your breakthrough. Not because it's easy, because it's necessary. Not because it feels good, because it creates good. Not because you want to, because you need to. Bleed your comfort. Bleed your excuses. Bleed your old patterns. Bleed everything that's keeping you from becoming who you're meant to be. Bleed in the morning when you don't want to wake up. Bleed at the gym when you want to quit. Bleed at night when you want to relax. Bleed in every moment you're tempted to choose comfort over growth. Bleed until the bleeding creates breakthrough. Until the sacrifice creates transformation. until the suffering creates strength. End this year stronger than you started. Not by accident, not by luck, not by hoping, by bleeding for it, by sacrificing for it, by earning it through daily suffering that compounds into transformation. The year is ending. The bleeding season is here. The choice is yours. Now go bleed. Go sacrifice. Go break through. End this year stronger.